Okay, welcome back. Good job, Rooster. I think you finally managed to be more cruel by not killing someone. So you're covering the whole base situation there. Inside, when you return, you walk past Antoine into the house. Basil, you're still at the table with Cassandra. Agnes, you've just finished assembling the pie, and you're like ready to put it into the oven. Um, who is the first to speak? What happens? What's going on in that moment? Do you say something when you come back, Rooster? Or like Basil, when you see Rooster come in, do you say something?
Yeah. Where is he?
Out in
What'd
the
you
alley.
do?
Talk to him. Ask the woodsman.
Did you hurt him?
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
So he left him out there, and he's not gonna he's not gonna make it.
Okay. We have to look more into Erasmus.
Why do you say
There's a
that?
connection.
That's your
That,
philosopher. That's a philosopher person.
yeah. Yeah.
That's all you got?
She built the machine. She's not with them. She's very nice.
She's
Well,
not. She's
fuck.
not wearing black robes.
No.
Basil, we knew there was a connection. You said that this Erasmus guy, his words were on the papers. They're printing the papers. Even I can figure that out.
What do you want from me? She doesn't know anything. I know they meet in a tavern nearby.
Well, that's something. Maybe Mr. Butcher is involved.
Who's Butcher?
Dead man told us.
Are you sure you trust what she told you?
Yeah, I showed her the mark and she didn't try to kill me or kiss me, so. Yeah.
And then I think Rooster will like sniff the air, like, who's cooking?
I'm like afraid to bake this thing now.
It's too late. It's been baked.
It's a
Yeah,
baking time bomb.
I just assembled it, so I guess I'm putting it into the oven. Um, I'm like, wait, butcher? Because I probably know this person because tradespeople. So I'm like,
Oh.
It's a big city, but you could certainly, if you have a wise or something that you think is appropriate, you could certainly roll.
God.
Is it fair to make a circles roll to be like, do I know that person?
I think
Not
so. I
really.
think you can do that. I think you can be like, obviously, I know him, which actually might be what you're doing here.
I also have streetwise, so I don't know.
I think it might actually just be circles. I think circles you can use it for people that already exist too. Um, let's take a look.
I mean, if I bake meat pies, it would make sense for me to know the butcher.
They are in related fields of work. What exactly was the
It's a
person's
way
name?
to you want to find another NPC for whom you can get information or favors. They don't need to exist, but they can. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
What was his
Let's.
exact name?
His name is Ludwig.
Ludwig
Ludwig
Butcher.
Butcher.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Broad occupation, profession, or same life path. What are your life paths, Agnes?
Sorry, one moment. City born, student, apprentice, baker.
Okay, so you're relying on your baker life path. Okay. So you would know him sort of relatively recently. Um, you're the same station rank or social class. It's not the same life path, but it's a related life path.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's ob 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what am I actually rolling?
Rolling circles.
How I do that?
It is a skill or an ability on your sheet.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And you can just roll it. For circles, you can add in reputations, affiliations, if you have them, and then other people can help if they have the same life path.
I just have the 2D for one of the 12.
Yeah. And I think that in this case that there is a connection there, so you can add in those 2 extra dice.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, and what did I say the odd was? Remember, 2 or 3?
I already forgot. 3, I think.
I think it was 3.
I heard 2. Did I hear 2?
It starts at 1. Not the same life path. Yeah, so it goes up to 2. Okay, so it goes up by 2, and it's 3, but everything else is the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Holy shit! All right. Wow, look at those
Nice.
three sixes.
Nice.
Do you want to spend a fate and reroll those? You got enough fate.
Yeah, I guess so. Wait. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I guess I'll just do all 3.
Yeah, do it. You just spend 1 point. You
Oh,
get to
you
reroll
just spend
all.
1.
Yeah.
1
Oh.
fate point gets you rerolls on all of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's just
wonderful.
all 6s you roll in that roll.
Cool.
Pretty
So you get
cool.
another 2 successes. Awesome. Okay.
You know the shit out of Ludwig Butcher.
Oh, that motherfucker? Yeah, I know that motherfucker.
That motherfucker, yeah.
So Ludwig Butcher, yeah, he I think that you probably have like relatively recent information on him. In fact, he is an incredibly ambitious member of the middle class. His name, it says where he comes from, but he doesn't do any butchery himself anymore. He owns several like slaughterhouses, and slaughterhouses and like warehouses, and he supplies a lot of kind of the city of Freiburg's like meat. He's kind of like fancies himself something of a baron. He's incredibly wealthy. You know where he lives. He lives in like a mansion. Used to belong to some duke or something, and he took it. Now he lives there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is he played by Daniel Day-Lewis?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Ludwig, right?
Yeah. Ludwig Butcher. I'm making a note. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Okay.
And so Jess gets
All right.
to add him to her circles.
Yeah, put him on your circles list. If you go looking for him again, if you need to conjure him up, you can get an extra die for it. The thing about this is like you can with circles, you can have a circles roll in even like a ridiculous situation where like, you're in prison in a foreign country and the guard happens to be someone you know or whatever, right? You're thrown in a cell with someone who's like a friend of yours. You can bend the likelihood of these things by just making a circles roll with a higher difficulty.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you know where to find this guy, and you have like at least like a. It's not like he hates you, right? Like you have an okay relationship.
Mm-hmm. We're probably a little estranged, but
Yeah, I mean you're not friends. Like you, it would be a business relationship.
right. Yeah. So I'm like, wait, butcher? Did you say butcher? What did you say about butcher?
Not much. Just a name. That Butcher's connected and that he's got the resources. Sounds like he's rich. Makes sense. Maybe he's bankrolling this whole thing.
True, that's all he said.
Oh, what was that?
I said it's true, that's all he said.
Oh. I was playing into. I thought you said sure. That's all you said.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, I was
sure.
like, what was that? What was that? Okay. Yeah, I know him.
So you want to go
Not
find
sure if
him?
we should leave yet. What are we doing?
You think? Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just like, how's she doing? And I nod at our prisoner.
Yeah,
Did she eat any of that bread or drink that water?
I think she tried. The water she did, but the food she's having a harder time with. She's still really pale, and yeah, not doing so good.
She might need a proper doctor.
She
All I
does.
did was plug her up.
We should maybe take her to get help. That man outside, he won't warn Butcher. There's no way.
Basil, I killed him back in the apartments. This is just the tail end of that.
All right. Then yeah, we get her help, and then we deal with this Butcher. Sound good? Or we could split up, cover more ground.
She's not one of them. She should live through this. And I look over at the woodsman briefly.
Jesus Christ.
Just fucking putting the screws to him.
I'm remorseful, obviously. I've sort of displayed that so far a little bit. But with the rooster looking at me like that, I'm like, I'm sorry, were you all not in the room with me when I drew my bow for minutes, trained at her? Did you think at some point I would not use it? Why else would I draw it if not to protect you people?
What's confusing me is why Basil would back her into a corner and not expect her to look.
Like I said, it
that
didn't
your
matter
first
if you
time?
told me.
I'm not convinced she's not with the black robes. Basil's
Trust me.
a freelancer who built their magic contraption.
She's some sort of foreign genius. I don't know. But she isn't with them. She doesn't seem to have much loyalty. She wants to make sure her machine still works, and she wants to keep breathing, which is getting harder by the minute because of the arrowhead stuck in her chest.
Fine. What do you want to
No,
do?
I pushed it out.
All right. Yeah, good. I'm glad you actually got rid of that. Good.
Where do we take her?
Does anyone know a doctor?
Is there a doctor in the house?
Who wants to roll circles?
Yeah, who wants to circles up a doctor?
Maybe we just take her to the butcher.
No.
Rooster thinks his joke is funny. No one else does.
Yeah, I guess you can make a
This is
real
great.
big pie.
If she's willing, we could take her back to Red Root, and maybe someone there could help patch her up or would know someone. At the very least, she could recuperate.
I mean, I could try to roll circles too.
Is that a thing Woodsman's up for? Is that what, does he want to?
Yeah,
Find someone to-
I'm obviously conflicted on this, but I'm more pissed off. Not at. I'm kind of just mad that you people let me do that.
Why'd you let me
That's-
shoot them?
That's kind of the way I see it, because it's like, well, this is such a normal situation. Like, I'm always ready to defend everybody, and then the one time I actually do it, it's like,
You're like standard operating procedure. Then someone's like, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah.
Well, Rooster has been mostly pissed off at Basil about it, and then only kind of pissed off at the woodsman. But, whether or not any of that came through.
so yeah, I'm kind of indifferent to her, but by the same token, I'm willing to get her help if that's not a huge quest for us. And I was nobility. That was slash nobility.
Okay. So do you wanna make a circles test?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't think I've ever done that.
All right. So, What are you looking for right now? You're looking for
The doctor. I feel like I should have known.
a doctor, you know.
Yeah, like a legit doctor.
Okay. Within the same setting, but not the same life path. What setting or what life path do you want to use?
I guess. Forester. I mean,
So what are your life paths?
village-born, servant, huntsman, and forester.
Yeah.
And
So not obviously not village born.
right. And then servant, I feel like I could have like tangentially, like
I feel
encountered.
like servant is probably the one that fits. Like you're just looking for another servant, like the former doctor to not obviously
Okay,
the
yeah. I guess
imperial
that's-
family themselves, but like a doctor known to the family.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So same setting, uncommon occupation. It's going to be ob 3.
Okay.
Now you can if you want to bring your reputation into things, you can use those dice, but it'll color the interaction for sure. And then also if you have an appropriate wise, you can make a link test, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Is there helping on circles rolls?
There is, yeah, if you have the same life path as someone.
Okay,
The
cool.
key one that they're using for
Yeah.
finding the person.
Is anyone using? Does anyone have servant?
I can't.
Anybody else be a servant sometime? No, it's just you.
I was a different kind of servant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that means you've got how many dice? What's your circles at?
1.
1. Yep. So it's gonna be real tricky.
Yeah. Ob 3.
Yeah. No dice. Okay. So you.
No, I tried.
I mean, I think
I
okay.
appreciate it.
So the Empress had like a third cousin, and this guy was not like a nice dude. He would like have like he regularly like snuck like prostitutes into the castle, and occasionally something would go bad with him, and he would need a doctor. And so you remember this guy who like came and went from the castle a few times, usually to like help clean up a problem that the Empress's like third cousin had caused.
Yeah, the shady doctor.
Yeah. A guy who would keep his mouth shut. And I think that you remember that guy. You seem to remember where his like you're like I think you remember where his like practice was. Maybe someone needed you to like go there and get him once. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There was like a riding accident in the forest one time, and you were the nearest one. So the like sub prince was like, "I need you to go and get the doctor. Here's his address. Like, go fast."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is gonna end so poorly.
Yep.
Guy sounds real legit. Lots of integrity.
God.
He's exactly the woodsman's kind of doctor. He's a doctor who doesn't give a shit about human life either.
Jesus Christ.
At the time, he was probably appalling to me, though.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I guess I just proposed to you guys, like, I may know someone. He's not a very dependent, or I guess he is dependable, but he's not a very above board doctor. Look, it's the only doctor I know. Do you want to try to find this guy, or
his name is Florian. He's Dr. Florian.
His name is Florian.
And I'm just like, better than any doctor I know, and I like kind of kick my little stump leg out a little bit for emphasis.
let's go. Let's see. Cassandra,
She like looks up kind of weakly.
we're gonna take you to a doctor.
She nods.
Let's go.
She tries to stand, but like is obviously like having trouble.
Help her up. Give her an arm and like try to help her get to her feet and walk slowly with her towards the door.
Okay.
Blow out the candle.
Okay.
Is Antoine still outside?
So you step outside, and Antoine's like empty beer bottle is sitting on the stool next to his like where he was sitting next to his door. And a quick glance up the alley, you see him crouched down next to the body of the old man.
Antoine.
He like looks down the alley. He stands up, just walks towards you,
What are you doing?
shakes his head. Nothing you need to worry about.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He shrugs. Don't see I had much choice.
You could have said no. I would have left.
He scoffs, as if saying no to your kind ever made a difference.
The company I keep, they learned how to say no in new ways.
He shakes his head. He's like, yeah, maybe it's good for you. You people need to hear no more often.
Tell me about it. Good luck.
He just like shrugs at you. Like, thanks,
walk away.
cool. I'm going to use that to buy food for my family.
Yep. Listen, I don't have any more cash on me. I've been buying people out for the last 4 games.
Exactly. That's Basil the banker.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and your and Cassandra leave because you're helping her, right, Basil?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
as
leave.
we walk past Antoine, I like stop and like stand in front of him. Like I like prevent him from going back into his house so that I get his attention.
Yeah, I don't think he actually isn't like he doesn't go back into his house. He's just standing in the alley. But
Okay,
you
yeah, well, I'll
stop to get
stand
his
with him.
attention. Yeah, he looks at you. He's like, "You got something to say, killer?"
Do you have any good stories for you?
He looks over his shoulder. He's like, "That corpse? Nah. I was just checking to see if he had any jewelry."
Well, he had some rings, but they were on the wrong hand. And then I
Just
walked
like
out.
he just deadpans you. Just looks at you like, "Yeah, real funny."
Cool. Yeah.
As I walk past him, I say, "Oven needs 9 more minutes."
He kind of like looks at you. He's like, "I was wondering what that smell was." Yeah, I seen you. You're the baker. Oh, thanks. I guess.
I like gently clap him on the shoulder if he'll let me.
Yeah.
Just
Little
walk off.
cloud of flour.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you all kind of like file out into the street and leave. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't go back inside. He turns around and walks back towards the body.
That's very weird.
I have a suspicious.
So
So suspicious of this guy.
so you're gonna go see the Dr. Florian.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right. So I think that his practice is, I think it's actually like probably not too far from here. It's probably at the edge of the like this district and then the next nicest one. So he lives in the like kind of more the lower middle class section that's close to the borders this one. He's in that sort of liminal space between the two. It's starting, like, I think by the time you get there, the first kind of like rays of dawn are starting to like fall on the city. You can hear the bells coming from the center of town. You arrive outside the practice of Dr. Florian. It's got a pretty like mundane like front to it. Maybe there's like some shuttered windows. There's a door next to the door. There's one of those big white and red striped like poles. And when you get there, young, like youngish, like probably like 12 or 13, like a girl, like shoulders the door open, and is like throwing some like water into the street. She's like emptying a pan or something. And she sees you coming, and I think sets the pan down as you get within range. And she looks at you, Basil, and looks at your obviously injured friend, and she's like, "Rough night?
What? Excuse me?
You and your friend, you have a rough one?"
Yeah. Rough night. Yes.
She's like, "Doctor's still sleeping. It's extra if you want me to wake him up."
Yeah. Yes.
It's just like puts her hand out.
Well, what time is it now? How late is it? Like, are we at like 2 a.m. or are we at like 4
Oh
a.m.?
no, we're at like 5 a.m. Like it's starting. Dawn
Oh well,
is, dawn
maybe
is
he'll wake
coming.
up soon anyway.
Yeah.
Can we just get in? Can we just let her rest somewhere until he's ready?
She shakes her head. She's like, "You gotta pay me. There's no morgue. I let her in.
No, we'll
You don't have
stay.
the money. Maybe she dies. Then I gotta deal with the body. I'm
I
gonna get in
understand.
trouble."
Does someone have any money on them? I'll pay you back. I'll get. I guess I have one resources. Like, what
Do
is it?
I haven't.
How does this work?
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. Like, I don't know. Do I?
Basil
I haven't
has his
spent any of
name.
my quest to turn in money.
I have the largesse on my character sheet.
We didn't spend that.
No, I have been a good custodian of it.
So
I-
somebody with a non-zero amount of resources can make an Ob 1 resources roll to like have enough fluid pocket change to just pay her.
Yeah, mine says 0.
Rooster will pay. Rooster
Thank
will
you.
clean up your shitty mistakes.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
All right. So Rooster, you step forward and she looks at your severed, like your missing leg, and she's like, "Oh no, it's too late for you. I can't do anything about that." And then she grins and like gestures like, "Pay me."
No, but really, pay me.
Yeah. All
So
right.
Ob 1.
It's an obstacle 1 resource test. Yes.
I do
There
it.
you go, you do it, and it's
My resources goes up to 2.
it's a favorable test. You're like, actually, I totally have the fluid capital for this.
I'm like, don't I look rich? And I like give her some money.
Okay. Yeah, you put a like a small like handful of like Republic bills or whatever in her hand. She looks at them. She's like, shrugs, jams.
They wouldn't have bills, Adam. We just
Oh,
invented
yeah, we
the
don't have a printing press. Yeah, so it would be coins still. Yeah, you would have like letters. You'd have like IOUs or whatever. But
Yeah.
in this case, yeah, it would be just like a couple coins.
Checks, yes. Bills, no.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't take checks. Yeah. Okay. So you give her some coins, and it's probably a mix of like newly minted shiny Republic coins and like the old like marking of the Empress like coins. She just takes them, puts them in her apron. She's like, "Yeah, that's enough to wake him up. Come inside."
Thank you. And thank you, Rooster.
I just like shrug. I'm like, look, I got a thing to do. You all got this?
Whoa, what thing? Where are you going? It's
You a look.
almost sunrise.
Tell you what, you want to show your gratitude for me paying for this? And then I just leave.
What are we doing? No. Oh,
All right. So, Basil, do you go inside?
no, I don't think I can. Basil has an instinct about
no,
this.
yeah, you have a feeling.
And then I like,
Can you guys?
you make some like groan of protest. Like, is this like,
Yeah.
real? Yeah.
It's real.
And I just
Never
like
let friends
stop.
walk into danger alone.
I stop and I'm like, well, fuck, the woodsman can come if you're so fucking worried about me.
I try to look reluctant about it, but I'm actually like super relieved and like sort of exhale like a little emphatically because it's like I didn't know what I was going to do there because I was super torn. So yeah, then I just fall in behind Rooster.
That would make me rest easier. Thank you. Go. Let's meet back up by noon.
So Rooster, you're just like, all right, Woodsman, let's go get some of that Black Lotus juice. Fuck this dump. So Woodsman,
Rooster's
you're gonna go
walking
with
back
Rooster.
the way we came.
Okay, Rooster and the
I
Woodsman
know.
head back
Some-
back down the street, and Basil, you feel the cold hand of doom here, watching Rooster go back the way you just came from.
I do, but I also listen. He didn't walk into danger alone. Woodsman went with him. I have some good news.
I'm not worried about either of them. I'm just like, they're going back to Antoine's house.
I know. I have one bit of good news, which is I actually, before the last resource test I passed, actually increased my resources. So I actually have a little bit. They're still taxed,
Yeah.
but they're only taxed down to 2 instead of being taxed down to 1.
Nice. You may be able to pay the doctor too.
Exactly.
So Agnes, you and Basil take Cassandra inside, and inside is it's like a kind of like a little like a waiting room with like a really like worn leather couch with like brass buttons on it. There's some foreign looking like medical paraphernalia. There's like some kind of like device that seems to have like a headband, and there's like a bellows attached to it. There's a leather like doctor's bag next to a kind of like fancy looking desk that's been repaired with much cheaper wood. So like there's like panels missing that have been replaced with like not particle board but like shitty wood. There's little bits and pieces of the original desk that are still there. And then there's on the walls there's pinned up like medical diagrams and like various like anatomical diagrams. And you notice that like a few of them are upside down. You're like, at first you're like, what the fuck organ is that supposed?
Good.
Oh, it's a kidney. It's
Good.
he's got it. Okay. Yeah, and there's also on a shelf, there's a wooden shelf with a bunch of jars with like formaldehyde in them. They're quite cloudy and scratched, but there's like stuff floating in some of them. You hear some brief shouting upstairs, like a man's voice shouting, and then some like quiet, and then a little bit more shouting, and then the heavy sounds of like someone's feet hitting the floor, and then more footsteps on the stairs, but quieter. And the servant girl comes downstairs, and she's like, "Well, he's up. I have chores. Don't touch things." And she walks past you and grabs a broom and goes off into another room.
Mm-hmm.
I love all these like claustrophobic tiny wood houses. Like I imagine the waiting room is like more hallway than room, and like everything is tiny and you can hear everyone moving and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hot. And, like badly insulated and hot.
Hot and like jars of organs everywhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of like smells to the place. Like there's an overwhelming kind of like miasma to this part of town for sure.
Ooh, good word.
Thank you. Yeah, so the two of you are sitting
Woodsman
there.
said this place was legit, right?
My
It's like
eyebrows.
no such thing.
Of course.
Yeah. Right.
Good.
I'm more looking at Cassandra, and I'm like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. She's kind of like losing it. Like you're not even sure. Like she can hear you and stuff, but she doesn't seem super lucid right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
God. Where is he?
So meanwhile, let's cut over to Rooster and Woodsman, where you two are headed for Antoine's place.
Well, yeah, I'm going to Antoine's place, and if Woodsman is sticking with me,
Okay.
that's where he's going.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it, but I am.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just like talking at the Woodsman about like what's going on. I'm just like, fucker calls me a killer, and then he's off looting the body. That's some bullshit. Like, no way.
Yeah, and I'm occasionally like, yeah, how dare he?
And I like, okay, if you actually like talk about him, I like stop and I turn to him like, no, look, he knows him. That's why he knows who he is. I mean, you heard that quack. He said he had people everywhere. Yeah, who's to say that's not one of them?
This is like, I thought Rooster had been mouthing off, but like this is kind of sobering, and I'm like, wait a minute. You think he knows him?
Yeah, I just said, who the fuck would call me a killer and then go loot the son of a bitch?
Do you have other proof?
The fuck do I look like? And I'm like, I feel something and I want to go see.
I take a moment, and then I'm like, okay, let's go check it out.
Yeah. Right. Playing to his suspicion of people.
Okay, so let's snap back to the two. So booted footsteps, or like heavy shoe footsteps on the stairs, the wooden stairs creaking under the weight of this person as they come into the room. So down the stairs and then into this little like hallway. There's this guy. He looks like he just woke up. Like graying hair. He's like a big guy. Like he's got like broad shoulders. And he looks like he was probably like pretty like muscular in his youth, but he's nearing the end part of his life and has kind of dissolved a little. So he's like kind of greasy, like graying hair. Like he is definitely like at least partly like from here. His features are a little bit foreign looking. And he's got a pair of like trousers on, and he's like tucking a shirt that maybe was white at one point but is not anymore, like tucking it into, and it's got like probably like gravy stains or something on the front. And he like just tugging it into his pants as he comes down the stairs, and he looks at you, the three of you, and he's like, good morning.
Thank you for waking to see us. She needs help.
He nods. He's like, yes. First, coffee. Excuse me. And he like walks past you into the kitchen.
I want his accent to be like more outlandish, like, but I love this. No,
Hello, welcome to Doctor. No.
Good.
He's just fucking.
Does he have the kind of accent where it's like he was raised by people with accents?
Yeah.
That he is actually from the original place? So
Yeah,
it's like
definitely. It's just like a little bit like faint. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like walking right past.
good.
Maybe we can make the coffee. We can make the coffee for you if you could.
Yeah, you're just like talking to a door that's swinging shut.
Yeah, of course.
He went into like a kitchen, I guess.
Yeah, you hear him shout something in whatever like language, and then he's like, "Where is coffee?" And then you hear the girl be like, "Shut up, I'm sweeping," and he's like, "Stop sweeping, coffee." And she like comes back in, and then they yell at each other for like about a minute in whatever language, and then you hear the door open, and he comes back, and he's got a cigarette in his mouth, like a handled cigarette, like smoking, and he's like, "Coffee's coming," and then he kind of squints at you. He like, "It's extra. It's for me, not you." And he like takes a drag off the cigarette, and he looks at the three of you, and he's like, "Okay, which one of you is in trouble?"
Her.
The bleeding one.
And she's just like,
Yeah, and just like kind of passed out. And, like,
is there anything we can do to help?
and he like just picks like ash out of his beard. He like looks at you, and
Oh
he's
God.
like, "Right, okay," and like walks over and kind of crouches down and like snaps his fingers in front of her face and like slaps her in the cheeks a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, "So, what happened?"
She took an arrow to the chest.
He like leans back. He's like, "Really? Why?"
Yeah. It was a mistake.
So you are playing archery. Maybe bow goes awry, arrow goes where
Something
it
like that.
shouldn't. Yes, I see it all the time. Puncture wounds, very nasty. I don't think she'll live. He like stands up.
Sit down, sir. Please, doctor. This has to be something you can do.
He shrugs. He's like, I don't know. Seems complicated. I don't know is worth my time.
We could make it worth your time.
Yeah, now we're talking. How? You have gold?
Couple things. Some money.
Good start.
And some contracts. Man like you, I bet, would like a common flow of people to work on. I know a guy who runs a fighting ring. Maybe he could make you the official doctor there.
He squints. He's like, fighting ring. Sounds dangerous. Who is this person?
Oh, but if I tell you, you just go make the deal yourself. We can
He
exchange
scoffs.
information.
Yeah, he scoffs and he's like, no, I need pretty men like you to make the deal for me. Introductions.
Exactly. And I'll do that once you try to save my friend. My word as citizen.
Yeah, he looks there and he's like, okay, citizen. Maybe she's not so badly off. And he takes a long drag and he like hands a cigarette to you, Agnes. He's like, hold this. And he crouches down and he like exhales out of his nose, and Cassandra kind of like coughs and like turns her head a little bit, and he says, he's like, okay, first charts. And he stands up and he walks over to his shelf and he like pulls out this huge like folio of like astrological charts, and he like slams it down his desk and he's like, what is her birthday? Like flipping through it.
Oh my god.
Just make it up. It's all bullshit anyways.
She's an Aquarius.
Yeah, like, I mean, do you just make up a date? Or are you just like, oh, whatever?
I guess. She can't talk, right? She's like
Yeah,
not
she's
gonna-
like, she's mumbling to herself in fantasy Portuguese, so.
Oh. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so you just like give him a date, and he turns and looks, and
What
he's...
element does she look most like?
Yeah, he's like, interesting. Sign of the boar. Red house. Yes. And like finds a piece of paper and like pulls it out and like holds it up to the light and like looks at it. It's got like weird like astrological chart information on it. It's like, he like squints at it. He's like, I don't know. Holds it back. Turns it over and he's like, here we are. Puts it down. Pulls out a like leather chapbook and starts like making notes in it.
And also, Adam, just to be clear,
Go ahead.
this isn't what we normally expect from doctors in this.
No.
Getting at
No,
okay.
for sure. I mean, you all have different impressions of how medicine works, right? Like,
Yeah.
Woodsman is probably more familiar with like veterinary medicine, and like Rooster, yours is like field dressing, like how to treat a soldier. We talked about in the very beginning of character creation, like what none of you, I mean, Agnes and Basil, neither of you had been like grievously injured in your past, so
Right.
you never had surgery yourselves. Mostly doctors are just like, okay, you're dead, or here's some stuff we can do, or you're having a baby, or I'm gonna pull a tooth or something. But it's not like
This limb is broken, we amputate it. That tooth is bad, we pull it out.
Yeah.
Early medicine was a lot of
Yeah. So he's writing with one hand and he like reaches out towards you, Agnes, with his other hand, like he's like trying to grab something. It's like,
The cigarette.
The cigarette back in his filthy hand.
he takes it and he's like, thank you. Takes a drag, finishes his notes, and he stands up and he's like, we need to get her upstairs.
Okay, okay.
I'd pick her up.
Yeah.
Okay. He sees you like pick her up and he's like, whoa, you're strong. Good back. It's important. Upstairs anywhere is fine. There's tables.
Okay, I just start going upstairs,
Okay.
looking for an operating table to put her on.
Sure, yeah, you carry her upstairs and there's like basically one big room in the attic. There's two beds. There's like a big bed that's all like mussed up and unmade. There's a smaller bed kind of like away from it that's like more nicely made up, but a way shittier bed. And then there's a table and some more like contraptions, and a another smaller table with like tools on it, with like a saw and some knives and what have you. There's also a smaller bookcase here with some books in it. Also, in the middle channel of the attic, you can all stand up, but you have to crouch pretty much everywhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he just points. He's like, the bed, or the table, whichever. I don't care.
I put her down in the bed.
Okay. So he goes over to his tools and starts looking at them. So back with Rooster and Woodsman, you arrive at the mouth of the alley that leads to Antoine's house. There are people starting to like come out. Some carrying like satchels, kind of like heading out to work at the factories.
And there's no corpse.
I don't know. You look down the hallway or down the alley?
Oh yeah.
No, there's no body.
And I turn to the woodsman like, you remember where that body lay, right?
Yep.
Why don't you take a look and I'll keep an eye on things here. And I stand like across the alley from Antoine's door.
Okay, the alley's pretty narrow, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So you're like with your back against the alley wall, like just kind of staring at his door.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Woodsman, what are you gonna do?
I'm going into stealth mode and gonna go check out where body was. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you sneak down to the end of the alley. Yeah, there's like there's drag marks that like you see the drag marks before you even get there, like booted like heels being dragged through the muck in the alley. And then there's a spot with some like blood on the wall. But yeah, no body. You can see where the body was like lifted, and it was dragged back to Antoine's house, like just straight up, like dragged through the mud to his house.
I want to follow the dragging trail.
Yeah, straight up to the front door.
Yeah. Okay.
So the woodsman, Rooster, you see the woodsman walk to the end of the alley, look around, and then just like walk back, looking down, and then just like looks up at Antoine's door.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I figured.
Yep.
And I just like, I already have my shield on at this point. I just like pull my sword out, kick the door down.
Oh my god. Awesome. So so we get another one of those like hard cuts where you like draw your sword, your boot hits the door, and we cut back to the doctor like dropping a book on the table. It's like, same noise. And he's putting on like a bandana. He's tying a bandana around his face. And he looks over at you, Agnes, and as if in explanation, he's like, in case of internal humors, I'm very sensitive. And he points at her and he's like, bring your friend over here. And then while you like pick her up and bring her over to the table, he points to you, Basil, and he's like, there's a jar over there under the bed, full of leeches. Don't put your hand in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even like closed. It's just like a glass jar with no lid, with like leeches floating around in it.
You sleep above this?
He shrugs. It's like they can't fly.
Okay. Yeah, right. Stupid me.
Yeah, you're not a doctor, so it's okay that you don't know this. But at least
Right.
Yeah. So he sees your face and kind of squints at you over his bandana. He's like, "Trust me. I know what I'm doing. I'm a doctor." And he like gestures around, like, "Look at all my doctor stuff."
Organs, blood, gravy.
That's
Great.
Doctor stuff.
Doctor stuff. Yeah.
Hashtag just doctor stuff.
Totally. So he stubs out the rest of his cigarette on the table next to Cassandra, who's just kind of like lying there. And he, I think he pulls up these like leather straps and like straps her like wrists down. And he has the chart that he brought up, and he like pins that to the wall and keeps looking at it and like looking at her. He rubs his hands together. Like he spits in his hands, rubs them together, rolls his sleeves up, and looks over at you, and he's like, "Well, here we go." And he
I love this guy so much.
he just literally just jams his arm into the jar full of leeches. So there's like a splash as he shoves his arm in, and we cut back to the same splash is someone at the table in Antoine's room, like getting up and knocking like a cup off the table. So we see the cup like hit the ground and splash water
Nice.
on the floor.
Nice.
And Antoine is at the table. We get a like quick vignette of Antoine at the table, his wife ostensibly, and the injured guy is sitting in a chair with his like shirt off, and his wife is like stitching up his wound. And then his kids like scramble. He's got like 2 kids that like run when you kick the door in. And so all of that happens. I guess we get it in slow mo as the cup like falls. So we see them in the background, and the cup like hits the floor and splashes. And we'll resolve both those scenes when we get back. Let's
Cool.
Oh my
take a
God.
Good. Good and cool.
Stick around. I'm sure it's gonna go great.
Yeah.